Hey everyone, GamerRise009 here, getting back into Doki Literature Club Plus. And in the last video, we read a really messed up poem by Sayori. It sounds on the borderlines of maybe suicidal or something. And Monika's response is, "What the? Wait, Sayori? Oh, I could have finished that in the freaking first video if I had a little more time or didn't have trouble reading." Okay, we're going to trust part 2, so hopefully let's get this done in the next video, because then we can do the other one. Another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. Although Monika should have come up with a plan for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayori's going through these kinds of feelings, and I'm letting her confront me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? The whole time I didn't think to ask her about her own feelings. So much a stupid vision. Sayori enters the classroom with her usual smile, but upon seeing the downcast Monika, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monika, is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monika shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me I was trying to make it the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. So he responds quietly, What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sayori muttered her realization. I left my folder here. Monika stared blankly ahead, upside, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share these. How are you worrying about me? I don't want that. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me. Another long moment passes in silence, the air incredibly heavy. This is different. It was just about you yesterday. It was all about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monika massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable that Sayori isn't really to share certain things, but it is unfair as it to for Monika to pry. It's also painful for Monika to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, don't blame you for looking. You wouldn't have least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah. Monika takes a deep breath. Okay, I understand that you don't want me to worry. I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. Monika, seriously, Sayori needs help. You need to help her. What the hell's wrong with you? God damn it. She knew something was up, but she didn't do anything about it. And in the freaking original game, it's just fucked up. Okay, so. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monika pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the Literature Club. It is a place where people can express themselves in a way that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Right the way into your heart, or whatever. So I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that. Sayori smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monika returns Sayori's smile. I promise. Me too. The conversation closes. The mood in the room is lifted. With that behind him, it's time to proceed with the club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry? Huh? But what about recruitment? It's fine, we have plenty of time for that. Right now I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know. There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm not a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. It kind of just needs to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're going to have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You could start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. You have to get your feelings down first and then make it sound pretty later. It's not like building a what the heck? Railroad. Where will you go from one end to the other? It's more like a collage. When you find all the things that you want to put it in, and then you arrange them in a pretty way, at least I do it. It's not like it's the only way, but it's really good way to not get stuck right in the beginning. I understand. Yes, I've always caught up on how things sound and forget about what's actually important. Maka pulls on the pen and paper and starts writing on. Stop being a perfectionist, you idiot. Haha, I'm just kidding. Maka scribbles out, you idiot, after she writes it down. No, keep it. What? Why? Are you telling me I'm an idiot? Of course not. But the point is that you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Don't be as dramatic as you want. But I was just, well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monika rewrite, you idiot. She stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did the exact thing anyway. This is really going to take some getting used to. I believe in you. Thanks, I do too. No, but also you, of course. Ma continues the exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quiet as the others struggle to write without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monika's sheet of paper began to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Phew! Monika looks up and down at the sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it. But it's also kind of liberating. I could tell how hard you were trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really, really hard on it. But I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing with you. Sayori beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language. Yay, let's do it! Monika and Sayori proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so grows the essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Wow. Kind of get a little teary-eyed a little bit. Oh. Another day passes. As usual, Monika is the first one to the club room with a printout of the revised literature club flyer, complete with the new ideas Monika and Sayori came up with. It only the flyer we gave the one reading girl the other day. It's somewhat more attractive than the old one, but the new catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the flyer. Write your way into your heart. Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, no matter not into the heart. But the message being delivered that is one that can be used use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully Monika and Sayori had thought that it would be enough to garner, that's a new word, some curiosity from students. Why do I feel so tense looking at this? Monika thinks back to the previous meeting when when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be the club president if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form, but with the weight of Monika's shoulders only become heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating right points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monika was good at it. It existed entirely within the realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for real. Monika pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper, but her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. Monika lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch, and for some reason she feels compelled to run her fingers across it. As she does, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monika's canvas. Ugh. Asked by herself, Monika presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monika. Just move your hand. Monika writes. This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. Monika slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioners seem louder today. I'm here. Hi. Monika hears Sayori approach her desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sit down in the adjacent desk. Bad day? Me too. You too. The new flyer looks so good. You've been working so hard on the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard. It's just be vulnerable. Sayori takes the sheet of paper from Monika's desk. When she writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Sorry. Oh shoot. History. What did she say? She writes something down and stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You could trust me with anything. Sayori gazes at Monika with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the sign, Monika takes a paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sayori, this is really, really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can't do it, then you can too. If I can do it, you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday, I want to. To just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason I came to the club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you. More than that, I'm scared. At these words, Monika stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work us to the courage for this. Were Monika's own futile but genius efforts actually that pushed Sayori needed? Sayori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioner. As she prepares herself to continue, Monika waits in a gentle silence. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you see you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone that about these kinds of thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. But that's terrible. That's what Monika wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just if everyone knew about it, they would treat me the same. Wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that because I'm used to be like that. Sayori pauses, seeming to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people get inside my head doesn't bring happiness to it. To anyone. Okay, that's what it was. Sayori pauses again, and the solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worked that I'll be one of these people too. I am worried. Past of me really hates myself for doing this. But another part of me, I think, just feels like I would be different this time. Whenever we talk about what the club is supposed to mean, I keep feeling like it was right to me to do. Especially after you've been trying to so hard to express yourself too. It just made me feel like I could say it in confidence and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only 2 people, but I'm ready to means this much to me. It really means this much to me. Monika feels a frightening sensation in her heart. A feeling of connection to Sayori. Emotions between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You were so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave. I don't even compare. Monika steps forward. But if anything else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. if you'd like. Oh my god, that's so touching. It's beautiful. The art is beautiful. I wonder if it's the same person that did the art for the original Doki Doki Literature Club, because she is doing better. There's a video I like on YouTube that talks about her. Anyway, wordlessly and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monika's shoulder, and through their contrast, Monika can almost feel the torment of thoughts swimming in Sayori's head. At that moment, enchanted by the air in the club, Monika realizes that all the days that have been passed, that this is the one that she really, really hopes that nobody new walks through the room. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I ever met. I can say anything. I'll never judge you. I promise. Sayori begins to quiver. She takes several deep breaths, trying hard as she can to start speaking, to say the things that she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks from the choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless, and everyone would be better off without me. Suppose all the sob as a tear fills down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything, and it just feels like everyone just has to put up with me. And that's it. I hate it. The more Sayori speaks, the more she falls to the corridor control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming acheness cluttering her throat and chest. I don't want to have these thoughts. I want them to go away. And now I'm making you put up with this, and I just want to die. As soon as Sayori loses her composure, Monika becomes determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayori needs right now, so that the world won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through and soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. It's just being your friend. Monika offers a few words of comfort, but she knows that Sayori said it herself, that the thoughts Sayori experiences are those that don't belong, and Monika can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is to help Sayori battle them, like any good friends would. You have so much value to me and your friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. It really means a lot. And coming from where the last thing that could have happened, even if I was ever to get any other members, I would still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision, and you also brought happiness. And that is your favorite thing to do, right? Sayori doesn't respond, but Monika feels the gentle nod. No more words are needed between them. The two shared their embrace for a while longer, Monika letting Sayori take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles fully cease, Sayori lifts her head and wipes her eyes. I guess I needed that. Some days are harder than others. Well, I'm here whenever you need me. But any other time, I'll make sure that the things are the way they usually are. If that's what makes you happy. Thanks. You're the best. No, you are. The two exchange smiles. You know, I'm sorry to bring up all of a sudden, but I have considered talking to a professional. Sayori nods. It's scary, since it's already hard to tell people. Yeah. Well, of course, it'll always be your choice, but if you're ever looking to find this courage to do for it, I can do my best to help you. Thanks. I think it helps knowing that you would. Sayori suddenly yawns and stretches. Wow, that made me tired and hungry. Well, it wasn't. It won't make you do any work today if you're not up to it. No, I want to. I mean, I could say that it was definitely one thing that makes me happy. Monica smiles, but might want to get a snack first. All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their look. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks behind, a face that seems familiar. Well, alright, this is the end of this video and everything. It's a little early than usual, but I'm glad I kind of got this part done in this video and everything and all that. I'll be recording more parts, but I'm going to see if I can get the other parts of the side stories. And so I'll probably do that on my own time. So thank you for watching. This is GamerRise009 signing off.